Hello, everyone. My name is Tim Morose, and today I have the pleasure to speak with Steve Israel. Steve is the president of Buyer's Edge, an exclusive buyer's agency in Bethesda, Maryland. Steve, how are you today?
Great, Tim.
Steve, I wanted to start this morning and just ask, what is the status of the real estate industry today? Are there a lot of big changes on the horizon? What's going on?
Yeah, Tim, actually, it's just an interesting time to watch what's happening because, with the advent of the internet, the real estate industry has dramatically changed. It makes it so much easier for buyers to log online and go search for homes on their own. And it's also really brought in a whole bunch of different kind of models for how the real estate industry works and interacts with home buyers and sellers. You now have fee-for-service brokers entering the marketplace. And it's just put a big spin and a lot of changes into the market. And really, the industry hasn't sorted it out yet. But ultimately, I think consumers will drive the market and figure, and it'll all get sorted out. But the individual brokerage firms and the big brokerage firms are still trying to keep a rock-solid grip on how business is being done.
Gotcha. Now, the spring real estate market has been vigorous. There's a lot of talk about the activity and everything that's going on. What have you seen out there? Is it as busy as 2008 or prior to 2008?
Well, it's an oddball time, if you ask me, in a lot of respects. At least in the Washington region, there are so many fewer listings than what we would expect when you have really low interest rates, a market that has rebounded from it was at 2008's were the high, and then the market dropped off, 20 or 30%. But it's rebounded since then, and you would think that there would be a lot of inventory, a lot of people would be interested in moving and selling their homes at this time. But that just simply hasn't been the case. Inventory has remained low, which is putting enormous pressure on prices to go up even higher, as buyers are competing for these, for the meager inventory.
And right now, are we seeing more buyers or sellers in the market? A lot more.
Well, that kind of speaks to the same issues. That the sellers just aren't out there. We're starting to see the end of the foreclosure crisis in our region, where a lot of the houses that had really been beat up and in the foreclosure crisis have already hit the market and been absorbed by the market. And so now we're at more of a pace where it should be a natural flow of buyers and sellers. But we're still seeing limited inventory. And I think that potentially that just speaks to the Washington market because the job market here is so strong that people literally just aren't leaving the area, not as many people. Although Washington is a transient market as well, so it's a bit of a conundrum for buyers in the marketplace.
Gotcha, Steve. Where do you see the real estate market headed in the next, 20 years?
Well, I think that these changes in the way that the business is actually being run is where the crux of all is going to be a huge issue. And what I believe is that right now you have the big brokerage firms and a lot of the local brokerage firms who do listings desperately trying to control the marketplace. And consumers and consumer-driven services and fee-for-services brokers starting to come in and encroach upon that kind of traditional real estate model. So over time, I think that what will happen is that there'll be more and more fee-for-service type firms in the industry, but there's still a huge piece of the business that isn't really being addressed by the fee-for-services industry brokers, and that is that people really need good consultants in the business. And so it's not just about putting your property into the multiple listing service or making a pretty brochure. On the selling side, on the listing side of the business, having someone who's a great consultant and understands all the intricacies of the business is really important. On the buyer side, it's even more important. You have so many things that happen where the buyer really needs a good consultant about property condition, pricing, strategies for winning, and just understanding what in our area is a 54-page real estate contract and all the legalities of how the market, how the contract stuff works. So there's a lot of issues to get sorted out. I think 20 years from now, we'll have a very different type of marketplace.
Well, Steve, I really appreciate your time today. I thank you very much. And I guess to end here, how can people get in touch with you?
Our number is 301 657 1475. That's our the main office telephone number. But our website, which is really a terrific resource for people, is at buyersagent.com. And thanks, Tim, for putting this together. I appreciate it.
Steve, thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon.